Hello, welcome back to the channel. Quick update on what's happening gaming wise. I went to a small convention in the UK last week, finished last Saturday in Hook in the UK. I think Alan was there, and he hosts the Blue Tweezers channel, and he covered the convention in a fair bit of detail. So if you want to catch up with that, go visit his channel. I thought he did a good job. There's a couple of guys there who'd come down from, I think, Halifax, Rory and Dave, who were playing the Dark Summer, and it did remind me that I'd been for a while after a copy of the Dark Valley, which was the first of the series, designed by Red Raicer on the East Front. Quite a fan of the East Front games. I've just finished playing through Red Star Rising, which you'll see that was the last video I did, and I took that through to the start of the summer 42. I was pretty happy with the system, with the house rules. Essentially, it convinced me that it sort of worked with those little tweaks, and it's quite a good game. It was going down a similar path to my previous attempt to play through with the house rules, so I was happy to call it the start of the summer. And still fancy playing something else on the Eastern Front, and I've been trying for quite a while to get a copy of the Dark Valley, but it seems to be very hard to get hold of. I think it came out in 2013, and it sold out, and it was reprinted in 2019, and in the space of 18 months or so, it's just from the sort of retail, it's just disappeared. Very difficult to get a second-hand copy on the market, places like Board Game Geek and others. So maybe that's testament to the game. It was getting some pretty good reviews. I had read the rules, and it's sort of, there's a few things in there which I thought were a bit strange, and I'll mention that later. But I'm quite a fan of Red Racer's work. Not all, but most of the games he's done I've tried, I think, and I've enjoyed most of them. And then say you could get a copy of the first edition, but I didn't really want the first edition. I thought it was worth hanging on for the deluxe copy with the hard map and the corrected counters, and they would have assimilated all the errata into the new rule book. I think the counters are also a bit thicker, so a nicer package all round, but none to be had. And lo and behold, the week after RavenCon, a copy appeared on the Board Game Geek website. So I picked it up for a reasonable price, and it came fully punched and clipped, very neatly done in GMT trays. So I was very happy. So thanks to Ian for sending it and packing it so well. I've now read the rules. The game is deployed for Barbarossa, so I'm going to give it a go. There's plenty of videos on the system. I mean, you know, it's a chip pull system, which is quite sort of conducive to solitaire play. So I'm probably just going to do the Barbarossa scenario, which I believe is quite a challenge anyway for the German to get to the target. It'll just be a learning experience, but it looks very nice. The map's nice hardboard mounted map. There's some very useful play aids on the Board Game Geek, because the setup is just a text defined setup. And if you're like me, I like the order of battle charts. Someone's done a very good order of battle for the starting forces, and I think there's also a similar set of information for the reinforcements. So I'm probably going to download those as well. There's lots of other things on play aids, on reminders of special rules and certain turns, and people had done some of those, but I did notice that actually there are now plenty of play aids that come with the game. One of them, on the sides, does actually cover special rules for some of the earlier game turns. So you've got the special rules, reminders for turn 1, turns 1 to 3. So hopefully that's captured all of the special rules. It would have been a bit daunting just to have gone from the rule book, but to have them on a single sheet's quite nice. That mentions some of the slightly strange things that I mean, it's a pretty classic traditional hex game with Zocs for certain units. It's a step up from Proud Monster, so there are some divisions for the Germans, primarily the mechanised and motorised forces, but there's a number of infantry corps, so there are fewer counters overall. Not sure what the hex scale is compared to Proud Monster, but it's probably a more manageable package. Can be quite a lengthy game, so I've heard. Not sure. I think the chip pull mechanic can make the turns probably be quite extensive in length once you get into multiple chips being put into the cup. A couple of things that stood out to me was you've got these sort of support markers. This is I don't know if you can see that. That's a Stug, which gives you a +1 in attack or +2 in defence, which you can use for each round. So I think for every chip pull you can use it once. It just seemed like a weird thing to introduce to a strategic scale game. This thing can pop up, say around Leningrad, and then the next round of the same turn it's maybe down at Kharkov or somewhere, and just gives a little bit of flexibility. I suppose it's supposed to represent how they packaged out the assault guns to support various parts of the front when times were getting tough. And I suppose it means you don't have to have additional small counters to represent regiments or battalions of additional support for your troops. It just seemed like kind of they're on both sides. I mean, the Russians have some mechanised support, and I think they get 2 actually, which they can decide to just have appear somewhere and then get sort of transplanted and reappear somewhere else on the next round of the same turn. But I mean, it's just the initial thoughts on reading the rules. I'm sure when you come to play it, it'll be fine. So I'll show you the map. I haven't started yet. I'm still just about to get going. Had a few domestic issues to sort out, which I think is now done. So I'll give you a look at the map, but looks very nice. Very pleased to have finally managed to have got a copy, and let's see what you think of the map. I'll stand back so you can see the full map in all its glory. It's essentially 2 standard map sheets, but they're mounted maps. So you see, this is my my 4 foot wide table by 6 foot, so easily fits on there with space at the margins for additional play aids and paperwork. Now these are the downloaded setup charts from Board Game Geek. What a fine job that gentleman did. There was one missing on there. In fact, there was an updated copy on Geek, which I didn't bother to download. I just made a note there was one missing division in the reserve. Save printing out another sheet, doing my bit to save the planet. And yeah, fine effort. There must have been quite a bit of work to do that, so that's much appreciated. Forget the gentleman's name, but a big thanks from me, and I'm sure many others that have got the game. So here we are. It's stacking is a little bit congested. You've got I think four counters, so you'll be needing your tweezers, I think, in certain parts of the map, and these are of course half-inch counters. So it might challenge some people, but I think tweezers will definitely be the order of play here. Certainly in the sort of tighter spots. So here we go right round to Romania. Nothing happens on turn one. In Romania, that basically does nothing. No moving in and out. Or into Hungary. So the first, although it's chip pull, and you'll see I'm using these little coin holders, so I'll pop them into a bag and draw them out of the bag. I tend to do that with the chip pull games. Just it will reduce a bit of the wear and tear on the counters that I handle quite a bit, which will be these chip pull markers. So the first chit is actually automatic, so it's a combat followed by a move. So hopefully the Germans will make some holes, then they'll be able to break through. You'll see that there are holes behind the front line, because that 5-8 unit there has got a Zoc, because there's a white hexagon in its 5 strength. So that is actually blocking at the moment. But most of the starting Russian forces do not have zones of control, so you can just move through the gaps. There may be supply conditions. You need to be a bit mindful of that, but we'll see how that plays out. So, quite looking forward to it. Good job. Watch this space for an update.